Hello, and welcome to my channel. This is Abraham102, and you are watching False Chord How to Scream. Before we begin, let me clarify that I am not a vocal coach, nor in any way licensed to teach people how to sing. I am self-taught. Watch this video at your own discretion. I am not responsible for any damages, including vocal damage from you watching this, and afterwards using improper technique. Before I start off, let me clarify that both guys and girls can do the technique I will be showing you. Let me also clarify that the technique I am showing you does not harm your voice if done correctly. There are many different types and styles and techniques for screaming. Some are harmful to your vocal folds. Others have no negative effects. There are two main types of screams: inhaled and exhaled. Today I'll be teaching one technique for an exhaled scream. There are two mainly used techniques for exhale screams, which are fry/power fry and false chord. Neither of these two techniques are harmful. Today I'll be showing you the false chord technique, but before that, let me get some misconceptions about screaming out of the way, and then we'll move on to the teaching. These are not placed in any particular order. Number 1. Smoking helps your screams. Smoking will harm your vocal folds. It will distort your voice, but if you smoke a lot, it will damage them. I'm not saying you can't smoke, just that you shouldn't do it as a way to scream. The same thing goes for alcohol. Number 2. Pain is okay. It is, but only to a certain degree. Mostly when warming up or barely learning to scream, you will feel some pain. Pain, however, can also be a serious indicator that you're either doing something wrong, straining, or that you're hurting your vocal folds. If you outright ignore pain when singing, in the long term, this could mean that you will develop nodes on your vocal folds, which requires surgery to fix, and could be permanently damaging. I also don't want you to freak out about pain. It takes years of constant sore throats before this could happen. A few weeks or months learning to scream will have no effect. Number 3. Screaming is not loud and is quiet. This is true for some singers, due to the fact that they are either doing a plain fry scream, which isn't very loud, or not using proper technique. Number 4. If you weren't taught how to scream, you're doing it wrong. If you've ever been to many concerts, most of the singers will tell you that they're self-taught. Besides, even with improper technique, you'll be okay if you know how to take care of your voice. And number 5. This might be the most important one. You have to tense up in order to do extreme vocal styles. This is not true. The only tensing going on will be in the muscles aiding in singing. Your throat should be fairly relaxed. Next up, diaphragmatic breathing. The cornerstone to all singing, not just extreme vocal styles, is breathing. The diaphragm is a parachute-shaped muscle beneath the lungs which activates to help your lungs pull in more air. It can both pull and push your lungs, thus pushing or pulling air in and out of your lungs. The reason using your diaphragm is so important is because it helps to reduce strain, projects your voice, and keeps you from hurting yourself while singing. Many people overcomplicate the process, but it is rather easy. You most likely subconsciously use your diaphragm without even noticing during times when you are coughing, breathing in deeply after a hard workout, anxiety attack if you get them, and even laughing. Good signs you are using your diaphragm is you feel your stomach area and your sides balloon when you breathe in, and cave inside when you breathe out. Because using your diaphragm is so important, you want to make sure you are not breathing shallowly, which means your chest and shoulders move rather than your stomach area. Your stomach should move first. Now, I will teach you how to breathe with your diaphragm. Remember, you want to feel the air in your stomach area first, then feel your chest expand afterwards. First, I want you to take a few deep breaths and just relax. If you need more than a few deep breaths, pause the video until you're relaxed. Once relaxed, take 3 deep breaths. Now I want you to notice whether or not your stomach is rising up as you breathe in. If your stomach is not rising, but your chest is, make a conscious effort to relax your ab area as you are holding your breath. Then, keep breathing in air until you feel your stomach rising. If your stomach did rise, you're halfway there. Keep taking deep breaths until you noticed which muscles are tightening to help get the air in. This is important. If you still can't get it, the problem may be that you are taking breaths which are too slow to allow yourself to make it easy to notice which muscles are working. Remember, your stomach area should move first, not your shoulders and chest. Once you think you've got it, practice taking fast breaths with your mouth in an O shape with your hand in front of your mouth. Take fast, precise breaths. The important part is that the air you feel on your hand is strong and that you aren't straining hard to push that air out. If you have asthma, or have never sung before, or simply have weak breathing, your breath should still come out fairly strong. And this might also be a workout for you if you've never deliberately developed or used your diaphragm, unless you've done yoga, martial arts, or something of the sort. Once you're pretty sure you're using your diaphragm correctly, it's time to take it to the next step. Next, we discuss the basic sound of a false chord scream. Before beginning these exercises, which will hopefully help you learn to use your false chords, I do strongly suggest drinking a room temperature or warm liquid to prepare your voice for something you may have never tried before. It is also important to remember during these exercises that you should be relaxing your throat and pushing the air out with your diaphragm as you produce sounds. This is necessary both to help you learn to do false chord screams and to keep you from hurting yourself. False chords is the term used to refer to your vestibular folds, which is another part of your voice. The reason your false chords are used in this type of screaming is because your vestibular folds are very thick and cannot be damaged as they repair themselves, and are also covered in a protective mucus. They also help in the eating and breathing process. They're rarely used in normal day-to-day talk. The way you will know you are using your false chords is if you feel a deep, resonating, and choppy sound coming from the back of your throat. One thing you can do to help you identify your false chords is breathe with your mouth open. As you breathe in, stop the air from coming back out through your open mouth as you would naturally do so. You will feel both the back of your tongue and something else helping to close off your throat. That something else is your false chords. Now that you know where the sound will be coming from, it's time to get to the main exercise. To help you get a false chord scream, I will first be teaching you how to produce what is called an overtone, which uses your false chords. You might have heard of this as it's called tuvan throat singing in other cultures. This is what a pure false chord overtone sounds like. It is a strong, choppy sound which will be applied to a loud shout, which together will produce what is known as a melodic death scream. This is what more or less a melodic death scream will sound like. Melodic death scream will be your starting point as you already know how to shout. You just need to apply an overtone. Remember, your diaphragm should be pushing that air out as you sing. To produce the overtone, practice closing off your throat with your false chords, which we covered earlier. After you're sure you can do it on command, I want you to close off your throat lightly, without too much pressure on your false chords. Now I want you to use your diaphragm to push the air out with your mouth open and your throat lightly closed to produce an ah sound. Except in the overtone, which if you've done this correctly, you will have learned to do. I will once again demonstrate an overtone. When starting out using overtones, you may have some minor pains and tickling in your throat. Even so, I want you to practice overtones for a few minutes until you can produce a fairly steady overtone. Now that you know how to produce false chord overtones, let's move on to the next step. Using your diaphragm, I want you to shout out a loud "oh" sound without any distortion, just a normal shout with your mouth wide open. Now here comes the hard part. I want you to shout, but at the same time mix in a loose overtone with your tongue flat and close to the roof of your mouth. Push the air out hard with your diaphragm. Doing these three things, tone, overtone, and distortion, you will have created a melodic death scream, which I will, again, demonstrate. Now, if you're a beginner, your melodic death screams will sound a little different. More of your normal voice will come through the scream, but you should still hear a fair amount of distortion. That was just a loose death scream that I did. If you followed the steps correctly, congratulations, you've just done a false chord scream. From here on out, how your screams progress is all on you. Now here's what the full thing sounds like. Next, we will move on to compression. If you're having trouble getting a full sounding false chord scream like mine, something that may be necessary is learning to compress your screams. When compressing your screams, it is necessary to tighten your throat a little bit. Not too much though, because then you will be prone to injury. Compressing your screams might be the added touch that your screams need to sound fuller. There are 3 or 4 ways that I compress my screams. Combining them gets the best results. The first is either opening the vestibular fold closure more or making it more closed. You'll get different effects from doing both, depending on what range you're singing false chords at. The second is using the jaw muscle under and in the middle of your jaw to compress your larynx. Simply opening your jaw wide will do this. Another way is to both use the muscles in your throat and jaw to press on your larynx, or even using the muscles within the larynx. You can get some natural, relaxed compression, but sometimes that isn't enough, so the tight compression shown here should help you do the job. Like I said before, it is a fine balance with this method of compression between being fine and hurting yourself. Practice this to get familiar with it to develop control. With control, you will be able to keep from hurting yourself. Compression is also a mix of breath control, so focus on that too. Now we'll focus on progression. There are many ways you can practice to help your false chord screams get better. Overall, you want to focus on 3 main points: projection, overtone, and distortion. To practice projecting your voice, you can practice shouting using your diaphragm or doing deep breathing. To practice overtones, there's really only 2 ways. Either do pure overtones or practice false chord screaming. To practice distortion, focus mostly on tongue positioning, including different slight shapes with your tongue or keeping your tongue close to the roof of your mouth. Vocal distortion starts in the beginnings of your throat, which is in your chest near the top of your lungs. You will notice this as when you scream, especially with false chords, you may feel your chest, jaw, and head vibrating. As sound is produced, and it moves through your throat, there are various factors such as how open your throat passageway is, passing through false chords, being compressed by the back of your tongue, spit, and mucus, and near the end, your mouth positioning. Think of it this way. There are 2 main chambers which sound passes through and which it can be distorted, your throat and your mouth. By learning how to tighten or relax your throat and also different mouth and tongue positions, you will learn how to distort your screams to the max. As you start to lean off your normal vocal folds and more onto your false chords, your screams will become more full and brutal sounding. Next, we will discuss range. The best part of your range to sing false chords at, in my opinion, is a medium to lower range. As you get into the higher ranges, your false chord screams will become less full sounding and less distorted. You can do highs with false chords. Many deathcore bands do. But they will sound really choppy and raspy. To develop both your lower and higher ranges, the best advice I can give you is just practice. Messing around with false chords can result in tons of new styles, and maybe possibly even other techniques for screaming. And now for some tips. Stay away from the cold. The cold tightens your vocal cords and makes it harder to sing. To warm up, drink a room temperature or warm liquid and begin either by singing notes softly or during what's known as a vocal fry, not the scream. You can even warm up by doing overtones, though drinking something like warm milk or water with honey might be necessary to help form more mucus on your false cords, as singing dry is not healthy for them. Don't drink caffeine or products with a lot of sugar beforehand, as they tighten your vocal cords. There's a minute difference, but it's enough to be the difference between a sore throat or a very slightly sore throat. How to take care of your voice. Take regular breaks. During these breaks, relax your voice, drink lukewarm liquids. Avoid using improper technique, for example, straining to reach a note, singing for a long time, ignoring pain, breathing incorrectly, tightening your throat, unless using compression. Even when goofing around or creating new styles, tread carefully. Do not ignore pain. Pain can be necessary when learning, but once you have become well practiced, pain should serve as a warning and also your guide. Now here's an extra exercise. This exercise will help to lengthen your air capacity in the long term. Simply take a deep breath, the farthest you can go, and continue to breathe in short wisps of air until you cannot anymore. Then hold the air in for an additional 10 seconds, then release slowly. Repeat 3 to 5 times. Do this at least a few times a week, and over the course of maybe 2-3 years, you will have expanded your lungs' air capacity. Most important of all, practice. I cannot stress how important it is to practice. It will be very difficult, if not impossible, to get better at any type of singing if you do not practice. Second most important, always maintain control. Control can keep you from hurting yourself. Third most important, always put full effort into your screams. A half-assed scream never sounds good. So use your diaphragm. And now for some important terms, and I'll just put this in the video as an image or something. And now for some notes. You may have noticed after learning false chord screams that they die out very quickly and don't go on very long. Because of the physics of it, you cannot prolong the length of this type of scream unless you want it to come out sounding really bad. One thing you can do though is expand your lung capacity with the exercise I showed earlier. There exists another technique for screaming called fry screams. This technique allows you to perform long-lasting, good quality screams both in the middle, lower, and higher range. And they can also be mixed with false chord technique to produce lower and higher screams that last a decent amount of time. Unfortunately, I have not yet learned this technique for screaming, but I will soon, and once I have had some time with it, enough time to be able to give another in-depth tutorial like this one, I'll be sure to upload a video for it. This was kinda meant to show as much as possible without showing too much. I tried to leave out as little as possible in hopes of covering all the bases, and hopefully I did. Another important thing to note, if you haven't already noticed, there's nothing unnatural going on during a false chord scream. There's no tension or harmful straining, and no, you're not possessed by a demon, which I have heard by some people. The final overtone in a false chord scream is produced naturally. No sorcery here, so make sure to tell that to your religious, metal-hating friends and relatives if you've got them. I felt it was necessary to add this a little bit to help you understand how the false chord overtone works, why it's called an overtone, and how technically all death vocals are overtones. After studying the anatomy of the false chords, also known as vestibular folds, ventricular folds, I saw that the false chords are actually on top of your true vocal folds. By true, I mean the day-to-day speaking and cleans vocal fold. The reason this is important is because this defines why false chords sound the way that they do. If you looked at my terms section, you'll see that an overtone is the end product of a bass sound that has been altered. Think of your true vocal folds as the bass sound. In a false chord overtone, your true vocal folds are producing a normal, relaxed, and stable sound. As the sound goes up, it is chopped by your false chords vibrating slowly, which gives the original tone stops and starts, thus making it choppy. Therefore, it is my belief that your false chords probably don't make any noise, they just distort the already existing noise for you. This is fundamental to screaming, as fry schemes work in a similar way, just using your true vocal folds in such a way that they vibrate slow enough not to damage themselves, but to create a similar effect to a false chord overtone. It doesn't stop there though. Once it's past your false chords, it resonates through a bit more of the throat, then through the back of your tongue, resonates off your mouth, and finally comes out, where the sound has been changed so many times that the final result is a full death scream. For this tutorial though, I refer to the false chord overtone in specific to get you started, then move on to the many overtones which produces the final scream. Hopefully this helped even the most experienced learn a little something that they didn't know before. Thank you for watching. I hope this wasn't too long. Thank you for your views and your time, and possibly a like and subscription. This video is just about done. Check a link in the description where you can find the PowerPoint I used to make this video. I wrote it in its entirety. You can also find extra sources and channels which I use when I first learned how to scream, and also later on to get extra info. Very quickly before I go, I decided to add this little extra method. If you're having trouble with the method that I described earlier, something that you may be doing which you did not know uses your false chords is the heartbeat noise. It sounds kind of like this. So with the heartbeat noise, if you know how to do it, it's really easy. If you know how to do that heartbeat noise, it uses the same set of vocal cords that you use when you do death screams for this particular technique. So if you know how to do the heartbeat noise, just add more pressure to it using your diaphragm, and there you go.